USDJPY. Well, USDJPY, it was a painful situation for me yesterday as I missed that bearish momentum that took price all the way down to our very important key level at the 135.00 area. So this is what happened yesterday, and what was my expectation? What did we decide to do during the live session yesterday? So during the live session yesterday, hold on a second, let's scale back down to our 1 hour time frame. So on our 1 hour time frame, this was the setup we had here. Remember, we took advantage of this buy opportunity right around the 136.700. Then we had another position right around the 137.150 Japanese yen area, which gave us price was running with about, let's see, was running with about 90 and 50 pips respectively. So we had a total of about 140 pips running in profit during the live session yesterday. And in a matter of fact, we actually identified the selling pressure that started around the 137.70 level, where I said sellers could likely take over the market, but we never knew that the selling momentum will be as huge as this. As I was looking at a possible situation where price might likely come back into either the bullish trend line or the 136.700 area before another wave of bullish momentum happened here. But instead, what we saw was quite significant as the breakdown of the bullish trend line here for the cent price going for that to the downside at this point in time. So on the buy position we took yesterday, we were able to close with some profit as we moved our stop loss to somewhere around the 137.450 level, which gave us roughly about 100 pips thereabout. If you had moved your stop loss accordingly. And for those who took advantage, I told you that if price continues to the downside here, we start seeing selling pressure below this trend line. We had this trend line and the 137.7 as a yardstick for trading activities, where I said we shall be looking forward to buying opportunity if price breaks above the structure and selling opportunities if price break below the structure. So this selling opportunity we identified here yesterday was actually for scalpers and counter trend traders, as we never knew price will move that huge. So with this scenario that we have here, we already have a position running at this particular point in time, as I saw a consolidation phase here. So let me quickly take you through what our expectation is going to be like for today. And for those who are taking advantage of this move, this bearish momentum to the downside, in fact, congratulations to you guys. You really have wowed me. So now that we are going into the New York session today, what is going to be our plans? Well, if we look at what we have here on the 1 hour time frame, the first thing you would observe following this impulsive move to the downside yesterday is that as soon as price got into the 135 Japanese yen level, remember that very important key level we identified on the daily time frame. Don't worry, I will be showing you that in a moment. We shall be going to the daily time frame in a moment, but let's quickly run through what we are seeing here on the 1 hour time frame. So we saw that as soon as price tested the 135 Japanese yen level, price has been caught within a consolidation phase in the last how many hours now? I think 18 to 20 hours now. We have been witnessing this consolidation phase. And as a result of this, I was able to identify a beautiful setup here, a very simple setup in the form of a wedge pattern after connecting the series of higher lows here to give us this temporary bullish trend line that you can see right now. Then we also had this resistant level identified after connecting the series of lower highs here to give us a consolidation phase here, which could likely incite a reversal pattern or a trend continuation to the downside. So I shared this on my public platform this morning, where I said a breakdown of the 135.300 will be inciting a possible bearish momentum. And this is exactly what happened here. So we got a position triggered below the 135.300. So if you are taking advantage of this move here, kudos to you. You will currently be running with about 50 pips in profit. So I will be advising you to move your stop loss accordingly. Well, at this point in time, I'm moving my stop loss to break even to lock in some profit. However, for those who had missed out on this opportunity, let's see if the market is going to be presenting us with a second chance to either add more position or join this decline. So we are going to be looking at a retest of the structure to incite another wave of bearish momentum to the downside. So that's what we are going to be looking forward to. But first of all, let's quickly go to the daily time frame. Let's see what is really going on the higher time frame, especially for those who had missed out from our earlier session on the USDJPY. So right on the daily time frame, what is the first thing we observe here? So this is the daily time frame here, and we had a couple of structures here to guide our trading activities for the week. Remember, so we had this situation running at the beginning of the year where price has been on a bullish momentum since the beginning of this year. However, there is a very interesting structure. The most important structure we emphasize here based on the current structure here is the 135 Japanese yen level. And the reason why we laid so much emphasis on this level is simply because of what happened here in the month of August. Right along that bullish trend line, we saw a reversal pattern in the form of a double bottom structure. And whenever we have a reversal pattern like this, we want to be identifying a neckline which shall be serving as an opportunity to buy. A breakout of that level will be serving as an opportunity to buy the USDJPY. So we saw the breakout at the month of August, and since then price took over 3 to 4 months before price action came back to do a retest of that neckline. So we were at a very critical point here last week. Remember, we took advantage of this bullish momentum as price action gave us about 500 pips thereabouts after having like 2 or 3 positions running during the course of last week. And during the beginning of this week, we had a situation where we joined the bullish momentum here, and we were hoping that price will break out of the 137.700 level to incite another wave of bullish momentum. So we had 2 scenarios that we were expecting yesterday, that price will break out, or selling pressure below the 137.700 will send price crashing to the downside. But personally, I missed that move anyways. But congrats to those who were able to take advantage of that move. So price has come back into the 135 Japanese yen level again. Now, with this current structure we have here, it's important that we remain very patient. Even though we have a position running at this particular point in time, I told you, move your stop loss accordingly, because this level still has a tendency of buying pressure anytime soon. So we might be having buying pressure around that area. But if the sell position we took advantage of on our 1 hour time frame continues in such a way that we see price comes back to do a retest of the 135 Japanese yen level with selling pressure below the structure on our lower time frame, this might likely incite another wave of bearish momentum. And if a bearish momentum happens here during the New York session today, where will our take profit target be? Well, with the current structure here, we shall be using this impulsive move that broke down this bullish trend line as a yardstick for our take profit target, after we want to be extending it into the future using our Fibonacci extension tool. So if we run our Fibonacci extension tool through the previous impulse leg here, we should be aiming at somewhere between the 127.2 and the 1414 area as our take profit target. In the meantime, that is if selling pressure continues right below the 135 Japanese yen level. So we should be having somewhere here that is around the 131.350, 131.500 area, which will be dovetailing to about how many pips that is if price, okay, minimum of 370 and the maximum of 490 pips to catch here if price moves in that regard. So what we are going to be doing now is to go back to our 1 hour time frame. Let's look at the structure here and decide what our next line of action is going to be. So going back to the 1 hour time frame, where I said we already have a sell position running, and remember, we having a macroeconomic event coming up today. We have the Fed monetary policy statement, we have the FOMC economic projection, and we have the FOMC press conference as well. So these are very important high impact events that will be driving price action, and it's going to be massive. If any move going to be happening here, if it's going to be a buy, it's going to be massive, and if it's going to be a sell, it's going to be very massive as well. So want to be looking out for how we want to take advantage of this move. So right now we are back on the 1 hour time frame, And like I said, I was able to identify a structure here where we saw a consolidation phase around here. So we already saw the breakdown of that structure. So let's see if the market will give us another opportunity to add more position or join if you had missed out on this trade. So we are going to be looking forward to either price coming back to do a retest of either this trend line, the 135.300 or the 135 Japanese yen level. But what we are going to be looking out for to confirm that the selling pressure will continue is if we start seeing selling pressure right below the structures on our lower time frame, then we want to be getting ready to add more position to our existing trade. And for those who are not yet in this trade, this is a good opportunity to join that potential decline to the downside. However, if price breaks out of this trend line, remember we had this bearish trend line here. If price breaks out of this trend line in such a way that we have a breakout, retest with buy pressure right above the structure, then we want to be getting ready for another wave of bullish momentum, as this might turn out to be a reversal pattern in the form of a double bottom structure, where the breakdown of this structure here will become a false breakdown. So we have two scenarios we are looking forward to here. Let me quickly do a short recap of what our expectations are. So we already have a sell position running, like I stated earlier, right below the 135.300. Now I have said that let's wait and see if price action will give us another opportunity to add more position or join if you had missed out on this opportunity. So we are either looking out for price coming back to do a retest of this trend line, retest of the 135.300, or a retest of the 135 Japanese yen level. So we wait for price to come within the structures here. The most important thing we are going to be looking out for is selling pressure below the structure on our lower time frame. Then we could actually join that decline to the downside. So remember, we had our take profit target somewhere around the 131.500, somewhere around here. Already we had the typical target for sellers here at the beginning of the week. So let's wait and see how this is going to play out. If price will move that far, then the other scenario I stated here is price does not go that far, and instead price breaks out of this bearish trend line here, break out of that structure with buy pressure right above that level, then we want to be thinking of buying USDJPY with a take profit target in the meantime around the 138 Japanese yen level. Remember that level has been a strong selling nation past. So if price breaks out that structure, retest that level again, then we want to be thinking of adding more position to our existing trade. So these are my views here on the USDJPY. Have any questions, feel free to drop your inquiries in the comment section, and let's see how I can be of help in that regard. So those are my views there on the USDJPY.